everyone, my name is Ashu Gupta. I am a co-founder of D2O, and today we have a very special guest in our podcast room, Mr. Mahesh Ramanujam. Mahesh is a very well-known figure in the sustainable industry across the world. I saw your LinkedIn profile yesterday, and I was not aware that you were the software engineer. You were involved in the several management position at the different software company. How did you started from the city in India, and you went to the global position, and then people always go for the software, and you came from software to sustainability. What was the story behind it, Mahesh?
So thank you very much, Ashu. It's wonderful to be here in Jaipur in D2 office with you. I'm one of the very fortunate people in the world. Why? Because I started from Chennai, and I'm very proud to be carrying the last name of Ramanujam because it represents my guru's name, our guru's name. Second is it represents, of course, my father's name. And third is it represents the greatest mathematician, one of the greatest mathematicians in the world, Srinivasa Ramanujam, who hails from our family. Okay. So I'm part of his lineage. So I'm very, very proud of that legacy. Now, obviously, like everybody else in India, you take two careers only at that time. You become an engineer or you become a doctor.
True.
So when you become an engineer, I always wanted to be a computer science engineer because being a mathematics family, mathematics person, my journey started with Newgen Software Technologies. So there also, although I started as a software engineer, believe it or not, I was part of that initial project that architected the voter identity card project in this country. So I was always focused on working outside the boundaries of software, how the software is used. So why I give you that example is because that journey obviously took me to US to become part of IBM, start my own consulting company. Okay. And then while doing this for 15 years, I've done hardware, I've done software, I've done consulting, I've done management consulting, I've done business strategy, all things thanks to IBM. When you work in such great platform with leaders like yourself contributing, we had a phenomenal experience. You get exposure. And I firmly believe exposure leads to experience. True. Experience leads to excellence.
Absolutely.
Right? That's the way you go. So when I did that, one of the things that I decided when I was 40 and the world was going through a recession, I felt I was comfortable. And when you feel comfortable, I wanted to disrupt myself. So I said, am I really that good? Because I was winning at everything I was doing. This I don't say it with pride. I say it with humility. So I said, if I have to enter a new industry, will I be that successful? Wow. And I didn't pursue sustainability as an act to act. It was just an accidental journey into USGBC when I went in. But I saw the organization. I was fascinated by that. Then I said, maybe this is an industry I should just start from zero. So I gave myself a 40th birthday gift. That is my resignation from the technology industry. I have not resigned from technology, but I resigned from the technology industry at that time. Okay. Now I'm bringing it back. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So the journey of coming back into sustainability, because technology is an enabler. Right. And you know, being in this world, sustainability and technology have something in common. What is common is that it is for the greater good. It is for making things easier. It is for making things cheaper. It is for making things better. But in this case of sustainability, it's even higher virtuous value because you're going to do good to more people than you have ever imagined. Absolutely. So that's my kind of a little bit of journey into that.
I have seen the same journey because we started in USGBC, I think the 13, 14 years back.
Correct.
So that time I also started my journey. So I can relate because whenever I was doing a lead certification project, so that time very few countries were doing and India was started that time. Want to understand from you, during your tenure when you were there, how did you transform the USGBC and the GBCI?
You know, I think, the story of USGBC and GBCI is a great story about how a global vision should be localized, right? The credit, first of all, I'll give to leaders like you, right? I was the custodian of it. You can imagine me as a trustee, as a custodian, or you can even say as the leader who was put in charge to activate this powerful network we had. So first and foremost, I always believed in the mantra of follow the leaders. Follow the leaders for what? To bring a great global vision and strategy at the ground. Because as you know very well, D2O is a globally recognized project. Because you're not doing any less than a building in New York, a building in London, a building in Paris, a building in Beijing. But where is it happening? It's happening right here in Jaipur. A tier 2 city in this fabulous country called India, led by you. So the idea of USGBC starts with understanding that a global community coming together to create a global vision to activate local action. That's simple as that. Nice. That's a formula. That is a formula. And you yourself have done it. What I did from US, although I'm an Indian, but from US to India I came. But what you're doing, you're going from India to Vegas. What I did, three things. First, recognize global versus local. Second, engage and activate the leaders. Third, understand the local context and make it as meaningful as possible to the people locally. How do you do that? Build ownership. Today, looking at you and your entire team, what I see consistently is you are giving back. Giving back what? In knowledge, in experience, in your time, in your energy, sometimes with your money, and most importantly, the conviction that you believe that we need to build a better world. So the whole vision of global to local comes from that premise of really being passionate about activating every corner of the world to make sure that we build a better place.
From 10,000 projects to the 110,000 projects. So 10x growth in the 10 years. And that is something shows your leadership. And amazing kudos to you, because I was not aware that you were part of the GRASB also, which is also one of the recognized platform in the world right now. And you are the born leader, which I can see. I want to understand, so what exactly gives you the, was something was not filling in the USGBC that time and you started GNFZ.
During COVID, I lost 30 people personally. And I've survived COVID. So did you. And so many other people in the world. Whoever is alive should be grateful that they got their second life. So the commitment was about, if I got my first life and I did sustainability and I thought I'm doing good, in my second life, I have to do everything now, much bigger, much bolder, much smarter. So then I said, what would I do for the next 20 years? So instead of focusing on multidimensional metrics, I started focusing on one metric that we need to get it done. Okay. And that metric is zero. Now, it's not new. Even within USGBC, I launched the Lead Zero program.
Right.
So the vision of Lead Zero program was to actually make zero happen. Oh. That was almost 10 years ago before I started GNFC. But the only problem was we were not even 100 projects at that time when I started GNFC. I said that's totally unacceptable. 100 projects in 10 years and that to do zero. Zeroing things out should not take much time. Creating things to take time. To zero things out, I don't think you and I take a lot of pride in doing zero. So it's true. It is empty thing you're trying to achieve. Yeah. So I believe speed is scale, scale is speed. So if you are going to come and change the world in 2 years of really going from this calamity and pandemic to a world that is obviously free from that virus, in 2 years you did it.
Right.
And the entire world came together. Why couldn't we do that again is the premise. Why GNFC is important is because it's not about going after the lead projects or beyond lead projects. Our approach is zero to zero. Zero to zero. Which means that if you have done nothing, get started on a journey to zero. If you have done everything, just close the gap and get the zero done. Okay. Get it done like the way you have gotten it done. Right. In this building, you could have just stayed with a lead platinum, lead gold, lead silver. You could have stopped. Right. But why did you not? You close the gap because you know it's possible, it's doable. That's how you make it inclusive. Right. That becomes a vision that everybody can adopt. This particular team of zero and get there.
Our Prime Minister has a vision by 2047 to become a Viksit Bharat. Correct. And 2070 is a net zero. So how do you define India's sustainable goal and how do you think about the last decade and the upcoming decade?
I am very proud of the work India continues to do because it's hard work. Because I have done a lot of good work, but I admire your good work. Why? Because I know the challenges on the ground. There is price challenges, there is mindset challenges, there is policy challenges, there is government challenges. And most importantly, it's a very crowded place. For every one Ashu, there are 10 better Ashus may be available. Right. No offense to you, but that kind of a intellectual capacity that we have as a country. But the problem is, we are not organized to get it done to be a global player. What does a Viksit Bharat mean in 2047? That means that we are taken seriously in the global platform than where we are today. We are dictating terms about how the economy will go to the next level. We are actually being able to find maybe the cure for cancer. We are able to come back and introduce the next biggest AI company from the Indian subcontinent. It's not about always importing things. It's about exporting things. But will we be happy with a Bharat that is high on emissions, but high on net worth? I don't think so. We want a Viksit Bharat that is high on net worth with zero emissions. True. To create a better living standard for every single human being in this world and to nevertheless lead the world from the front to a zero emissions vision. So I believe the opportunity that we have is tremendous. Why? Because in the last 10 to 15 years, you've seen government has then introduced so many good policies, but then you also seen wealth has been created. Leaders like you have emerged, bringing a new perspective to the game. And, we just talked about your daughters, 2 daughters, and they are going to create a different type of fabric. True. This time on your platform. and enhance your platform to the next level. So all these opportunities are cascading in the next 10 years. So the potential for India is greater than the challenges it faces, because we have the commitment, we have the knowledge, and we have learned that it's possible.
Right.
And once you understand that, you can make things happen. So from my point of view, I see that India getting not zero done by 2070 by government's commitment. I understand why the government is committed. I do believe that by 2047, the government will, and we will get it done. It will not be a Viksit Bharat, it will be a Viksit Net Zero Bharat.
Wow. Mahesh, I think, do you recommend to the corporate clients or the any MSMEs also, because now the net zero become a part, the integral of their journey. Any big company wants to work with MSME, they want their building should record their carbon emission. So like GNFZ plays an important role in their journey. Is that that sustainability platform you have developed for it?
Within UGBC, I was always focusing on the building. But you know that I know that you worked in Bangladesh.
Right.
Every building that you have touched touches what? A garment industry.
Garment industry.
You are talking about livelihoods of people. You have personally touched, in my mind, 2 to 3 million people through your work.
Right.
The spaces you have built, the daylighting you have provided, the indoor air quality that you have enabled, and the most energy efficiency improvements you have created, the solar arrays you have deployed, all of them have benefited the people inside this building. So when you talk about a building, you talk about two things: the people inside that building and the business that's happening inside that building. So why we should look at decarbonization only within the building concept? So we expanded that horizon.
Okay.
We said it's about buildings, it's about business, it's about products, it's about processes, it's about platforms. And why are you looking at decarbonization in silo? Second, you already know the building industry. What prevents you from making the leapfrog into the MSME sector? Why can't you decarbonize a process? So that innovation spectrum is very, very key. So you asked a question about India's play. That is the type of innovation India can bring to the rest of the world. So that cool connection through decarbonization, making it not only a moral obligation that we all need to fulfill, but also an economic opportunity, so that we can continue to underscore by doing good, you can still do well for the marketplace, is the premise of GNFC. So to sum it up, we are focused on every sector that needs to be decarbonized, because decarbonization cannot be focused on silos.
What do you think about the collaboration which we are doing, like D2O and GNFZ? So this kind of a collaboration as a consulting organizations and the framework organization, when they work together, I'm sure it impact a lot to the fraternity. So do you think the similar tier 2, tier 3 cities, GNFZ is going to go with their local partners to do such kind of a conferences?
Yeah, I think, I've always recommended and said partnership is the new leadership. I continue to believe in it.
Right.
So there is definitely a logical synergy. What is the synergy we need? We need great standards, right? If we didn't have a lead standard, if we didn't have a GHG protocol, if we didn't have a GNFC protocol, then people would not know where to go. You are providing a lot of help on the ground, but still people are asking questions. How do I do it? What do I do it? Why should I do it? And that is why you prioritize education also as one of your key pillars in your enterprise, right? So when you look from that perspective, standards and guidelines have to be one. Then implementation has to happen, because we are done talking about why green is important, why zero is important. It feels like that will be like us making an argument about why do we need to carry a smartphone. I see you as leaders who are enabling great best practices on the ground and informing your clientele, the community, or anybody that you serve, to raise the bar on themselves so that they can actually contribute to a zero emissions world. Right? Why this is important? To improve their economic opportunities, to be a good citizen to the planet, do no harm to the environment, right, because that's the environment that's going to take care of you. Third is you have to be people-centric. And to take care of your people and to people around you, these three constructs are important. It's a business relevancy issue. And you are that organization that is enabling that success for these business leaders to happen. And that's how a thriving economy will happen. That's how we'll bring people from poverty happen to the next level. Right. They will be able to get the benefits that your children are able to get, or you are able to get through your own hard work. That generation of change that we can create through this theory of change that we have activated. Right. So the work that you do is very, very important. Now, where we come in is to say that, look, Ashu, you're doing a great job. That is the certification body we have.
That's a certification body.
Why we need a third-party assessment is that because we have to also put enough priority on transparency, validation, and communication. Not everybody is going to understand the energy modeling that you talk day in, day out. But when you see that, okay, there is something that says like this is a good thing, people believe it. To make it credible, we have to have a role. So from that perspective, our partnership is very, very exciting for me because that's how we started with the lead 20 years ago.
Wow.
You asked me, how did we go from 10,000 buildings to 110,000 buildings? Because leaders like you showed up, did their work, and they kept educating the clients. They helped clients implement, and most importantly, they get their clients recognized. So the strategy is very simple: educate, implement, celebrate. So your partnership is super critical, and more partnership is needed because you know that if I brought you 10,000 net zero projects to you, then you'll say, Mahesh, that'll be too much for me to handle. So
Right.
you'll need all the arms and the legs and the
Right.
thoughts to do, and of course, good tools. So clearly, the D2O building to me is an example of what's possible in every part of the world.
And absolutely,
The rest of the
Mahesh. I think that is busting the myth also, because a lot of people having a myth that only the big buildings can go for the sustainability or the green or the net zero. But we have proven with this building that 20,000 square feet building can also go for the net zero. And that is something we have already proven. So thank you for recognizing that journey of D2O also. So the last question, Mahesh, I want to take up now related to the future generation. You know that there are a lot of future generation are coming up. And now the people are towards the computer science, which you were came from to computer science to the sustainability. How will you recommend to the people the future generation should come forward in the sustainable? Because then accordingly we can make a 2070 net zero India.
You know, Ashu, when we look at our future generation, we have to recognize three things. One, they have already bought into the consumption culture. So they have not understood the context of all these things. We are not saying don't have the tools, don't have the luxuries. I'm not a believer in compromises and giving up on your what do you call lifestyle. But you can have a responsible lifestyle. As a buyer, you have the power to demand things. And if you think 1 second for how is this impacting the sustainability footprint of this planet, we will have a lot of creative solutions come. And most importantly, this future generation is capable of even providing those solutions. So that type of interventional education has to start with this group of people. That's number one. Number two is that we have to make sustainability a career or a subject like mathematics, like technology. Because you know, the sustainability is such an important subject, and it's your opportunity to pay the rest of the world forward. So why would you not be part of it, right? Everybody wants to be part of a tech. Even the most unsavvy person who doesn't like tech still is a consumer of tech, user of tech, likes tech. Something is happening with the tech. So the second part is that we have to find a way to engage this audience. Third is that this audience will not learn the format in which you have learned or I have learned.
True.
You have to teach them through new methods. If you are not going to get on this track, you will soon see yourself not enjoying many of the lifestyle benefits that you already inherited. And you will be in a very, very difficult place. So if you want to continue enjoying the things that you are enjoying, get up and show up and actually contribute to a better world. But the important part is that you have the power to innovate, you have the power to accelerate, and most importantly, you have the power to actually change this world.
Thank you so much, Mahesh. Thank you so much. I think we learned a lot of things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.